None, no discussions, I guess we take. I guess we'll take a vote to approve it.
Oh, sorry. Forgive me. Joey Atkinson.
Aye.
Alan Curran.
Aye.
Amy Crandall. Angela Hawken. Ken Castro. Matt Mustico.
Aye.
Okay, we have no correspondence. And so we'll go to old business. First, order of old business is, case number 525A, Ferrario Ford. 2472 Corning Road, Horsehead Site Plan Review, public accessible electric vehicle charging station at the north end of the building. Anybody here from Ferrario? All right, we'll move on then. Second piece of business is case number 625B, Hale Contracting Incorporated, 2054 Grand Central Avenue, Horsehead Site Plan Review, replace the storage building, demolish and remove 2 storage buildings and erect a new larger storage building. Anybody here from Hale? Wow.
We just carry it.
Third and final piece of old business is number 534B, Marcos Galvez, 111 Colonial Drive, Horseheads. Site plan review, retail location displaying various portable structures as well as children's play sets, gazebos, and lawn furniture.
Here.
I think we got a copy of the lease
Yeah.
that we needed to
Yeah.
show that you have control of the property, which is fine. And then I think the only other thing I remember was the parking area, the
The parking area, I think we put it on a separate sheet of paper and kind of blew it up. I kept it to scale.
okay.
It should be
Do we have
there.
that?
So,
And I made it a little bigger as well than originally on there.
Okay. So you've got room for 10 by 20 spaces
Yes, sir.
and your entrance is on Colonial Drive. Okay, so I think those are the only 2 things we were looking for.
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
And the county approved it.
If the county approved it, but
Okay.
we're still waiting on Big Flats.
Big Flats never got in touch with us.
So what I would suggest is if you're inclined to approve it, that you approve it. Yeah, subject to hearing from them at this point in time. I mean, they have no,
Do we want to pass the sketch around so all the board members can see it? We didn't get this in a mail.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, here. You guys want to take a quick look at it, then we'll pass it over to the other side.
Also, well, the county said that a highway work permit would be needed.
Yeah, and that's normal. That's not, that has nothing to, the Andy Avery, the highway superintendent is on that board. So that's a comment probably from him, which you will have to do that and get a permit. You'll be the only
Tina,
one
do you
on
want-
that road.
You want to pass that over to the other one?
It's gonna be Al Basile Paving is gonna do I think we call it an apron that comes in off the county
Yeah.
road.
Right, yeah, you'll have to contact the county to get a permit
Yeah.
to get to the road. Other than that,
So we need to do a secret for this.
yes,
Moving first.
Let me go get something. I have another folder with them. Give me 1 minute. John, I want to start it with you. Joe. Yeah, I think that's good.
Secret first.
that's,
Um,
that's hard.
On the parking spaces, it's a gravel parking lot.
Gravel lot, yeah,
Gravel, it's gonna be crushed stone and it'll be rolled.
And how you gonna mark the handicap space?
There'll be there'll be a yard sign. It'll be handicap and then the van accessible space next to it.
Okay, so we want to do the secret first then, and we'll.
yeah, we can do the secret. It's gonna be real,
Yeah. I think we-
real issues.
Thanks.
No.
Everybody have a copy of the seeker?
Yep.
Okay, let's get down through the seeker. Let's see, will a proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulations? No. Will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of the use of the land?
Yes. Moderate.
Minor.
Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community? It's a no. Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of the critical environmental area? That's a no. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or a walkway? No. Will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy? And it fails to incorporate reasonable, available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities? That's a no. Will the proposed action impact existing public or private water supplies? No. Will it affect public or private wastewater treatment utilities? No. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources? No. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources such as wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora, or fauna? No. Will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems? No. Will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health? No. So it looks like this is see, so we'll check this box if you've determined based on the information or analysis above and any supporting documentation that the proposed action will not result in any significantly adverse environmental impacts.
Motion to determine that.
So moved. Second. Okay, Joe Atkinson,
Aye.
Alan Curran.
Aye.
Amy Crandall. Angela Hawken. Ken Castro.
Aye.
Matt Mustico.
Aye.
Okay, let's- So while I'm finishing filling this out, I guess, is there any other discussion on the site plan? Now we've all seen the updated parking. If not, I think, is there any other question on the site plan at all that we want to discuss? Any questions? Then I guess we need a motion to approve the site plan.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
With the stipulation that
No, we're over
big
there.
flags.
She mailed it on March 21st.
Oh, all right.
So under they have 30 days, so under the general construction law, we have to give them 3 days for mailing. So it would be the 24th, so we're past the 30 days,
Okay,
so.
we don't need that. It is.
This one. So we don't need a motion then? That was,
We need a motion, we
Okay.
don't need it subject to the receipt. Or not the receipt, but the 30 days to big plans.
Okay, so we
I
have,
made the motion, Ken seconded it.
okay, and any more discussion? Call the vote.
Okay, Joe Atkinson,
Aye.
Alan Curran,
Aye.
Amy Crandall, Angela Hawken, Ken Castro,
Aye.
Matt Mustico.
It looks like you're ready to go.
All right, thank you very much.
Welcome.
Thank you. Let's see, new business. Referral from the Village of Horseheads for 3005 Watkins Road, Bethany, Orchard Homes, Horseheads, request by Orchard Homes Development for expansion to construct 6 additional duplexes. Has everybody had a chance to look this one over? I don't know. Other than worrying about Biltmore Drive and the continued use of the trucks.
That's something we don't already.
Right. Does anybody have any comment or? None?
Local determination.
Can we get a motion for local determination?
Make a motion for local determination.
Second.
No more discussion? Full vote?
Okay. That was easy. Joe Atkinson,
Aye.
Alan Curran,
Aye.
Amy Crandall, Angela Hawken, Ken Castro, Matt Mustico.
Aye. Okay, item number 920. Global Solar Project, Global Trust on 459 Breezeport Road. Pre-application conference, and from what I read in the paperwork, it looks like 921 kind of goes with it.
Yes, yeah, so I'm Robert, this is Sean, you may remember us from the Parker and Sheasley projects. So yeah, these are actually, they're 2 distinct projects, Radford and Goble, but they're proposed to share one point of access off of Breezeport Road. Location is close to intersection of Bannister Road and Breezeport Road. I'll give you a little bit of an idea. And the Radford project is 5 megawatts, similar size to the previous 2 that we have presented. The Goble is 3.34, so a little bit smaller. And these 2 projects, you may recall from the Parker and Sheasley that we were funding a pretty large piece of infrastructure at the Ridge Road Station. So these 2 additional projects tie into the same line that runs along Breezeport Road, and are also going to help fund that piece of infrastructure. And so that's sort of what we've been waiting on partially to start the other 2 projects is these 2 projects to help us. Once we get going with them, we'll be able to fully fund what's required for NYSEG to start that work. So this project, and I'll let Sean dive into it, but we're up on a plateau. The terrain is pretty steep in front of Breezeport where the access will be. So we're pretty high, and it's gonna be practically impossible to see any panels from any public roadway around here. So with that, I'll let Sean dig into the specifics.
Sure. Again, my name is Sean Reardon. I'm with Tetra Tech. We're the civil engineers and the environmental permitting consultants. So we're the ones responsible for preparing the plans and doing all the studies and doing all the renderings. As Rob mentioned, so they do a really good job of finding sites that use the natural topography to keep it out of view. And it's actually kind of a standing game between our renderers, the people that generate the project renderings, and them to challenge each other to try and find a place where you can see it from. So this is like the first one that we literally our renderers could not find a road that they could see it from. So what we did is we just did renderings that showed where you could see them if they were behind the trees. So those are included in the package. But just to help everybody orient themselves, if you look on the board, this is a relief map where you see the shading represents steep slopes. And at the bottom of the sheet next to the river is Breezeport Road. That's the bend in the Breezeport Road, just shortly before the Dandy and the Dollar General. And that black that's adjacent to the road, that's a real steep slope. There's an existing farm road, or it actually looks like it was a road that was built for either hauling gravel or something like that from the top of the hill at one time. Our plan is to use that gravel road as our access up into the parcel. And the gravel road will extend through the Goble project, which is the project closer to the river, and then up to the Radford project. So there'll only be one entrance for the 2 projects. The projects, the Radford project is 5 megawatts, so about the same size as the Parker project and the Sheasley project. The Global project has a little bit smaller land area, so that's about 3.4 megawatts. About 9 acres total of panels for the Radford project, 6 acres total for the Global project. Most of the work is just building panels on top of the existing landform. The Radford project is going to require a lot of tree removal. We have stormwater design to take care of that. We have
Which one has tree removal?
the Radford project, so that's the more rectilinear project on the sheet
You'll
top.
perform the calculations, determine tree use as opposed to solar use to make sure.
We haven't done that same, we didn't do that same calculation that we did in responding to questions last time, but we can certainly do that.
And they're both on wooded areas. The Radford project does have some thicker trees, but it also is mixed brushlands. The Global project is pretty much all woods.
Yeah, and it's all younger growth.
And what kind of, and give us what kind of trees and that type of thing too.
Sure, yep.
Okay,
What you're speaking of is the calculation we did comparing
Yeah.
trees and solar
Yeah,
generation.
yeah,
which is
yeah.
better for the environment. Yep.
trees take care of carbon.
Yep.
Carbon dioxide better than having solar for whatever purpose the damn thing is.
I should have put that in the narrative, and I didn't. I did fix the reference to the waiver request. I didn't make that mistake twice. So the relief, we do need some relief for, their current bylaw requires, or allows a 15-foot maximum height. These are tracker panels, so they actually rotate with the sun. So at their flattest, they're less than 15 feet, usually around 12 feet, 11 to 12 feet. But when they're tilted up highest, they range from 17 to 19 feet.
I think there was a little discussion on this last time
Yeah.
too. So our design is actually a 2-panel wide array. You can't have a single panel wide array that also tracks. But obviously, you know, if you have less of a drastic difference in height, you know, and it's wider, because at full tilt, it's sticking up higher as opposed to, you know, you have a shorter width. It doesn't stick up so high at full tilt. So that's why we need the height waiver for our design.
And then the Global project needs one additional waiver. There's a 75-foot offset from a setback from the property line. What we're asking for is a 15-foot setback against the property line of the Radford parcel. So we're looking to site the solar panels for the Global project within 15 feet from the Radford property line. So that would be the same property that the project is sitting on, the Radford project. Hoping that because there's a solar project right next door, we would be allowed to have that.
But it's not one continuous project. They're separate.
projects.
Right, so
Yeah.
why don't we do this?
I mean, and I should, what I guess I'm saying is that I'm not taking 15 acres of land, putting 15 acres of solar panels, and they just happen to be 2 property owners. I'm not doing that.
Correct.
These are set, okay.
Two separate projects. So the Radford project,
But there's a big separation between them.
yes,
They're
but
not,
With the
Yeah,
property
adjacent.
line.
yes, but they
property.
share a common property line.
right.
So if you, the Radford project, for example, the project that's on the higher part of the sheet, that's well inside their property. The property boundary of the Radford parcel is actually just 15 feet north of the Global solar panels.
Okay, so you're gonna need a variance.
Right, and what we've done, we've agreed to some
We can,
some landscaping mitigation and. to
you have
mitigate those
we
impacts.
can go to the plan, right?
Yeah, if you don't mind, can you go up to the Global project? Yep, keep going, and if you can scroll down one more. Okay, that's perfect. So if you see at the top of the sheet here, that sort of dashed line that spans across the top of the page, that's the property line between the Radford parcel and the Global parcel. And our panels are 15 feet off of that.
How many panels are that? How many panels?
Total number of,
Spitballing, we can give the exact number, but spitballing, that might be like 9,000.
and that, so
That's just on that.
Yeah.
So and then the other one has how many panels?
probably 12.
Yeah, 14,000.
14,000 on the Parker project. So that's 50,000.
And then we can give you the exact number. We're actually, for this one, we may be using, they've increased the wattage per panel a little bit since last year. I mean, that kind of changes every year with the latest panels. So we may be able to, there may be slightly less.
And what's the dimension on a panel?
I don't know off the top of my head. I think this, did we put in the specs, right?
Yes, yes. Well, the reason I say it's because we usually refer to cables, so the panels are like the little tiny pieces that get mounted on a big. A bit in a big rectangular form that are all spun on one single tube. So there's like a 200-foot long, what we call cable, and all of that rotates together. So that's the
Right, one-
the panel dimension is a really small dimension. The tables are about 200 feet long. They operate as a single.
One motor
service.
turns a tube that 104 panels are mounted on. It's 2 rows of 52 panels. And they are all mounted on one tube, and a motor drives the rotation of all those.
Is there any type of battery storage at these places? So they go directly into the grid?
Through an inverter and then to the grid, yeah.
So there is a small battery on the motor.
But no, somebody said there's lithium battery storage.
No, we're not proposing any lithium ion storage.
Some of them have them though.
If like you mean generally?
Yeah, some solar farms have them.
Yes.
Oh, they do.
And we, so, I mean. We usually design our sites to provide a little room to be able to add that later, but we're not proposing that now. If we wanted to do that, we would have to come back
Okay.
at that time. It doesn't really financially make sense right now. I think a lot of people. The state wants it, but it's incentives don't really, it's very expensive and doesn't really make sense right now.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that too, because the report from the Coordinated Electrical System Interconnect Review labels it as a 3,349 kVA battery storage generating station.
Yes, so when we submit to NICEAG, we do spec a battery and just to see what happens. But obviously, if it's not in the plan here that's approved, we can't put it in. So what we're doing there is seeing, well, what would NICEAG require in terms of upgrades or improvements if we were to do that? Because actually, in this specific case, they came back with some feedback saying, you know, to have the battery, because when you have a battery, you can charge it from excess power from the solar. But you may also want to pull from the grid to charge if the price is low, and then you can discharge at night. And so what we want to look at is, well, what are the implications of adding that load onto the grid? And will we need to do improvements? And in this case, they're saying it was infeasible without significant improvements. So we actually have reapplied to say, you know, restudy this with the battery removed. So we're not going to be doing that.
And I don't know if you know, the way the batteries work is like, so we have a maximum amount of power that we can put to the grid at any one time. And obviously, over the course of the day, you're generating more power when the sun's at its highest. So usually everything's tapped out at that, or there's, you know, we're having to spill some power because we have excess power. The battery allows you to discharge, to save all that during the highest point of the day and discharge it at that maximum rate the entire day, sort of increasing your revenue. And to Rob's point is what you can also do is you can buy power at a cheap rate directly from the grid, store it on your battery, and then put it back to the grid during peak hours when energy costs.
Right, so whether or not there's a battery, most of these projects are overbuilt. The inverter, the electrical inverter is what determines what can be output, how much power can be output. So you actually have enough panels to produce more power than the inverter can output. You know, let's say at from 10 to 2 when the sun's way overhead. But what you're looking for is in the evening hours, that's when electrical demand is high. So if I overbuild my panels, but the sun is less intense, I can still hit the full output to the grid. And the state actually provides additional, well, NICEAG provides additional revenue if you're able to output during those peak hours towards the evening. So it makes sense to overbuild the project to be able to have full output during those hours.
But that means you're gonna have a battery on site, you're just like showing it on the plan.
No, so that essentially that energy is wasted, the potential to produce that energy is wasted during the hours when you would be able to produce more, but are not able to by the limitation of the
You're
inverters.
gonna have a store, but your plans are to have a storage battery.
We're not,
No,
No,
Okay.
no,
Yeah,
I think said that it isn't feasible.
correct.
and if for some reason that would change, that we'd have to come back to you and ask specifically for that. Because that building, for example, there's no infrastructure shown on, there's no pad for it, there, the area needed to house them is not shown on the plans or any indication on the plans. And we're here because we're submitting for preliminary site plan approval, hoping that you guys would assume lead agency, send out for county for review, and then starting the process like we had last time.
What about, John, what about, decommissioning?
Yeah, we'll have to get, when we get toward the end.
I actually emailed you the
Yes.
draft agreement
Yeah.
and for the bond and the HCA already, and we gave you the estimate.
Right,
Okay,
yeah, that has to go to the town board, so.
Yeah, okay.
Just a familiarity with that area, especially the one that's in Global, and I'm not 100% sure where it is on the curve. But there's a very interesting land effect up there. The DOT had a slide at one point somewhere close to that curve. Where the hillside came down into, I know how steep it is, I climbed it. This slid down onto 223, and when we got up on top of there, there's a section. And this was years ago, that's a fairly as big as this, maybe bigger than this, twice as big as this room. And there's like a 10-foot vertical wall where you could actually see where the ground had shifted down in that area, up on top of that flat.
Okay.
So
I mean,
they,
it's just kind of an interesting, I mean, there's that, it's like it had slid at one time and it stopped.
so actually that sort of answers a question we had, because DOT they have an unusually large appropriation around that bend. So the width off of the road is, I mean, you can see the property line on the plan there. It's
Right.
quite wider than,
Years ago, that road was actually closer to the hillside.
They
moved the road. They moved the road closer to the creek.
Interesting.
I mean, it was
And
a very.
it's pretty
it was a
tight
very-
there too.
It was a very sharp,
Yeah.
it was a very sharp curve right in there, and then they had so many accidents and stuff like that. They actually widened it out, and that's one of the reasons why it's out there like it was.
And that explains why there's so much roadway right of way at that bend.
Because they moved the road
Yes.
toward the creek.
That makes sense.
Yeah, at one time it used to go straight up, like almost tight to that hillside all the way around.
Oh, and then we should probably talk a little bit about the gas.
Yeah, so there's actually an abandoned pipeline running through the Goble project. It was formerly owned by Mobil. And they abandoned it. And it changed they pumped it full of nitrogen gas, I believe, and capped it. And it's been abandoned in place. And the easement for the pipeline is still, was still retained by Mobil, and they've passed it on to a few subsequent companies. Currently, Shell is actually the owner of that easement. We've been in communication with them. They've indicated we can do some work to have them release the easement, because as you can see on the plan where the pipeline is shown on the line there, kind of crossing diagonally, and we're wholesale building over the top of it. So they said they would release the easement. What they'll have to do is go on either side of the parcel, and they'll dig down, cut pieces out of the abandoned pipeline and put caps on either end. And we'll have to compensate them to do that, but then they'll release the easement, and they consider it, I guess, no longer that much of a liability to them at that point, so.
And just the reason the shape of the parcel, the shape of the panel layout is the way it is that's the flat part of the site that's on top of the hill. So we're using the flat part to put the panels on, and that's the shape of the level area at top.
I'm told that the pipeline once led from a tank field in the Ithaca area and actually went all the way down into Elmira. But it's since been abandoned, and several pieces of it, I think, the easements have been released by Shell. So it's sort of like, I don't know that they could ever do anything with the right of way at this point.
That's something that would have to be cleared up.
The owner also told me at one time it became exposed in where the creek is, because it does continue on through Breesport, through Newtown Creek. They came in and had to recover it. I think this was back in the early 2000s.
And couple of them around, there's a movement are still alive. Gasoline lines like that.
Yeah, this one was a bit of an oddball. It took me a long time to figure out that Shell actually owns it, because Shell, they told me, we don't own anything in New York. And I talked to somebody at New York State DC, and they're like, no, I think Shell owns it. I had to, it's like Shell Legacy Holdings, just like
Legacy, yeah.
the background of Shell, hidden in the basement. So anyway,
So we don't really have any action tonight. Other than just what we need to have.
well, if you would be able to assume lead agency, is that
We
possible?
could accept this as, not preliminary, but a sketch plan. At that point.
My only concern is that much of going from 75 foot to a 15 foot. Variance, that's the only,
Well, that's gotta be, that's
somebody else.
that's something, yeah. That's something they'll have to ask for the variance. You'll make recommendation and then it'll have to go to
Right.
zoning board of appeals. Zoning.
Is there, since it's sort of a common line between the two projects, is it something that would need to go to zoning board?
Well, because, if we're talking 10 feet or so, I might use that section that says, that this board can have,
Okay.
but we're talking 60 feet.
Okay. Yeah.
it's a significant change, and the other thing is we have to. Us and them have to consider is we can't consider the second project. Truthfully, I mean, really, if you think about it, if I give it to you and they say it like that.
Okay.
It doesn't say anywhere in our codes and jurisdictions, and the next guy comes along and says, hey, I want a 60 foot variance.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Just-
makes
Yeah.
sense. Okay.
Would it help if perhaps like we could get an easement or something like that from Radford to Global, for the purposes of?
I mean, we could, I mean, we're gonna have to get an easement anyway.
I'm just wondering, just to make the logistics of, keeping it with this board rather than having to go externally.
I'll get a permanent easement for,
So we're gonna have to do that anyway. We're gonna, they'll sign, Radford will sign a small easement to this project along that boundary. Because we need to, we're showing clearing on their property, because we need to have a setback from the panels to make sure trees don't fall on them. Things like that.
Access to the Radford project is coming through the Global project.
right,
So.
you said there's only gonna be one access.
Yeah, and it's almost like if you looked at the additional 60 feet of setback onto the property is probably about the same area as the access road is through the
Well, why don't you
property.
talk to them, we'll take a look at that and see if that, as long as it's a permanent easement.
Yep.
And,
How would we demonstrate that to you? You want a letter from
well,
the owner?
it's something that'll have to be done and ultimately filed, but let's put it this way. If they're gonna give you a permanent easement for that, they lose control of the property anyway, let them just convey it.
That would be easier. Yeah.
Well,
Just convey 60 feet.
yeah, it's not a permanent easement. It expires with the term of the lease.
It will not. Not from that from here, it won't at this point.
Well, I mean, it's an option.
Yeah.
It won't expire with the term of the lease because they may still be there even when the lease is done. We don't care. It will be permanent or, you're gonna go to the zoning board of appeals to take that other step.
Okay.
But if they're gonna give an easement, they might as well transfer the property because they lose control of it anyway. And you're saying it's on a side hill, so what do they keep it?
Yeah,
60 feet, man.
If they want to reserve,
It's not-
if they want to reserve, the timbering rights or something, go ahead.
yeah.
I mean, it's just an option.
We'll think about that, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have three options. We go to ZBA, we get the real estate, or we
Don't do the project.
we pull it back 60 more feet.
Yeah.
Right,
exactly.
yeah,
And that,
yeah, which makes that one, that one.
that larger grid,
Yes.
how many panels are you talking at 60 feet?
You'd be chopping them all off.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's,
Quarter ones now.
that's the widest point
Yeah.
through there, down there, yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, what you may want to do is convey the property who's a Radford and Goble this way.
Right.
Convey to Goble what you need and let Radford retain easement rights for that area of what they want.
Perfect, yeah, understood.
If we did it as an easement instead of an actual deed, that would, a permanent easement, that would suffice.
I'd have to, I don't know yet. I'd have to look at that. I'm not.
You got something crawling on your shirt.
Is that what she's been saying?
I've been wanting to do that.
There you go. Just walk out of the woods. Wherever it is. Wherever it is. I mean, I didn't go anywhere.
Okay, I mean, I think we could probably do the easement, the deeding a strip over, that might be harder.
I don't think so, because
Yeah, but
you're still, I mean, even with the easement, you're still gonna need to survey, you're still gonna need to show 60 feet. You're gonna need the exact same things to record that if it's a deed. Exactly.
Yeah, but I know these owners, they don't want to give away something, we'll see.
Well, You ask them what they wanna give away,
Yeah,
60 feet of panels, or
right,
this.
right, okay,
It gets a lot easier.
yeah, okay, all right.
And that's pretty elegant, so it's, because essentially you could transfer fee ownership, but through a permanent easement, retain every right. that you
They
would
could
have
retain
otherwise.
every right they want.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, retain every right, and they have superior rights. If they give an easement, they lose superior rights.
Right,
If they have an easement, they have superior rights.
it's great having an attorney.
So it's,
It's got some good idea.
All right, we'll work on that. In the meantime, are you able to refer to county for comment? Okay,
yeah, we got enough, I think. Yeah,
Yeah.
she can,
So then do we want to move to accept this preliminary plan?
not preliminary, but as a sketch plan,
As a
and then
sketch plan.
refer it to the
County,
county, and we're not near anywhere else, are we?
State.
We're not near any.
That's the state
You're
road.
or anything?
That's the state road.
DOT, right? DEC, DOT, county?
DOT and EC.
Yeah.
EC for the.
We don't have to
Yes, for-
refer to them, they can, that'll just go. But we're not near Erin, are we? We're not within 500 feet
No,
or
no,
200 feet. or-
We're the other side of Bridgeport.
Yeah, that's what I thought, we shouldn't be. We shouldn't be either way, okay, yeah, just the count.
Okay.
Then
We're on board.
will you send notice of lead agency to the, or is that?
Yeah,
not-
we'll, this board can be lead agency,
Okay.
yeah, so we'll put it in there. And we'll send notice, actually, we don't wanna. Rather do it uncoordinated, let everybody do their own, I don't like that. That's just laziness.
We prefer it when you're the lead agency. Makes things a little
And
easier.
there's nobody else out there.
Well,
that
let's
really
put it
wants to
this
do
way, even if I don't, they will assume we are.
Exactly.
You know, I did have one project where nobody, and then we didn't know what to do.
Right, nobody wanted lead.
Nobody-
Well, it's simple, if nobody takes it,
Then nobody
Then-
cares.
no, but then each party has to do their own seeker.
Yeah,
So it just means, if DEC has, it, they have to do their own seeker.
yeah.
Yeah, everybody has to do their own. That's all it means. That, if
Before they
they say,
issue
well,
their
I'm not gonna be leading, and that's exciting. I guess.
No, it's not. It's scary.
We don't need to do a seeker tonight then, because. it's-
No.
It's a sketch plan.
No,
You
we're
need
not-
to do
we're
the
not
public
there.
hearing for this.
We're not there yet.
So the next time we'd see you would be, you'd schedule a public hearing after you get.
Yeah, we will do a public hearing on this on the
At the
site
next
plan.
meeting.
So let us know, yeah. Let's get the referrals out. We'll do the thing that says we are lead agency and send the notices to whoever you got on the plan there at that point in time, I don't know. And then,
I'll give the address to the assessor
yeah,
to get all the properties.
yeah. And then, yeah, we can do that, and then we'll call the public hearing at the next meeting for
The following.
yeah, what are we, May, June, so July meeting, yeah.
Okay.
And July meeting, is that goofy? What, July?
I think it's the second.
The cross season is done, right?
It's July 3rd, I think.
Oh, no.
Wednesday.
You should move it.
Yes.
Maybe the summer.
Yeah, July 3rd.
July
Yeah,
3rd, so
July
that's
Summer, it's like, that's always.
Nobody wants to come in on July third.
July 3rd is fine.
That could be in your favor.
Well, yeah, the issue is, yeah,
Think about that.
see, I tell everybody in my world, when we hold a meeting, we never turn on the air conditioning in the summer, we're in the winter. People want to come in, let them have their say, go. They don't listen to me, but.
So if we, if you're looking into the easement thing, if that worked out, would we just need to show you a recorded easement or how? what would-
Yeah, ultimately, yeah,
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
you'll just get your surveyor to put the easement on the plans and
Okay,
go from there.
So I guess we need a motion to accept this sketch plan tonight.
Two.
Two of them, yeah.
Two of them. Well,
Or do we want to?
or, they're kind of together, but we should do.
We need
we
to
should do
separate.
Two,
Okay.
two,
Two separate ones?
two,
Okay.
two separate, since
Okay.
that's the way they're.
All right, so let's entertain a motion first for the Global number 920, the Global Solar Project to accept it as a sketch plan.
So moved.
Second.
Call vote.
Matt, is that second?
Yeah.
Okay, Joe Atkinson.
Aye.
Alan Curran.
Aye.
Amy Crandall. Angela Hawken. Ken Castro. Matt Mustico.
And now we need the same motion for 921, the Radford Solar Project.
So moved. Second. Okay,
No more discussion? Call roll.
Joe Atkinson.
Aye.
Alan Curran. Amy Crandall. Angela Hawken. Ken Castro. Matt Mustico.
Survivors on the next, you gotta get home.
Well, I guess that's it for now.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right.
Is there?
Yeah.
Amanda, do you have a phone number for Greg? All right.
I didn't bring my phone.
Number, I have him on Messenger.
Huh?
I can call him on Messenger. I don't have his phone number though.
I didn't see you.
Let's do Hale. Let's go back and do Hale. I think Hale is easy, right?
Okay.
Hale. Said we got.
Yes.
Can you send
Bye, guys.
a message? Cause I know he's at a meeting.
Dawn.
So
We
one,
do a secret for Hale?
yeah, that's Grand Central Avenue.
Yeah, because the village said, look, or the county said, oh my God, they both said, okay.
Okay.
The
All right,
village
well, we went by and I didn't know if we were gonna, John,
Well,
you
John,
wanna do Hale?
Let's do Hale. I think Hale's simple.
Yeah, it's pretty
And I
straightforward.
don't think they've started building yet, so.
By the way,
That was the
for
other-
those of you guys who didn't hear, Ferrario had already started construction
that the
for
other
our
day.
approval, and today code enforcement went and put a stop order on it.
Yeah, they're almost done if I look.
They are.
yes,
Yeah.
Surprised, it's not the first time this is happening, but.
Yeah. So, so I just
Just when I started to almost like,
Remember going through the
Is
ZBA
that
and stuff like
close?
that, finding the ground's totally built.
well, I had them work on that car and they did a great job and everything, so I was that close.
well, the mechanics aren't Mr., they don't know. So anyway, do we have to do a seeker for this? For Hale?
Hale,
Yes.
okay, let me hand out some more.
I got a sheet.
I got it.
You got it? Okay.
Any, you guys need a sheet
Ken, you
over
need
here?
a sheet?
We need one more over here.
One more? Okay.
You have that
I
one.
have one.
Oh, you got one? Okay, then I guess we're all set.
Okay.
Okay, this one is 625B. Okay. All right, we'll do the seeker here.
No, no, no.
Right, yeah, really.
Read it into the record. Will the proposed action create material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulations? No. Will the proposed action result in a change in the use and the intensity of the use or intensity of the use of the land? No. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community? No. Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of the critical environmental area? No. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway? No. Will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonable available energy conservation and renewable energy opportunities? No. Will the proposed action impact existing public or private water supplies? No. Will it impact private or public waste treatment utilities? No. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historical, archaeological, and architectural or aesthetic resources? No. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources, that is wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora, or fauna? No. Will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems? No. Will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health? No. So I need a motion to check the box that says that we've determined, based on the information and analysis above, and any supporting documentation, that the proposed action will not result in any significant or adverse environmental impact. We'll move.
Second.
Okay. All right, Joe Atkinson.
Aye.
Alan Curran.
Aye.
Amy Crandall. Angela Hawkins. Ken Castro.
Aye.
Matt Mustico. So I have a question as far as Ford. Do you have them come back next month?
Well, I was gonna, we messaged
We have to,
Greg.
can we,
So, but you guys can just say, yeah, no.
motion to approve the site plan for Grand Central Avenue. Right, we have to approve, we should approve seekers, now we gotta go.
Oh, yes, yes, you did correct,
Yep.
yeah. Yeah, we jumped ahead.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor.
Positive? Yeah.
Yes.
Any other discussion?
Do we have a second?
Yeah, we do.
Any other discussion? Roll vote.
All right, Joe Atkinson.
Aye.
Alan Curran. Amy Crandall. Angela Hawkins. Castro. Matt Mustico. Approved.
You knew it was going through, but
Yeah. So now what about Ford? We're just waiting to hear from Greg?
Well, I was gonna see, you know, I look at it two ways. One is, they can't do anything until they get Greg all the plans anyway. They gotta get, you know, they got that thing, they gotta get a wind load, they gotta get all the other building plans that are needed for it. And
but as far.
but I'm spiteful enough to say, let's just adjourn it to the next meeting and make them come in.
The only
So that
thing
they're
is-
stuck for a month, but I don't know.
you take your car over to get a service.
Yeah, yeah, I'll have to go somewhere else. I might sell that anyway.
I'm surprised that after Greg he jumped, he got right out of the building before I could even get out of the building to get over there. I'm
Yeah,
surprised I'm surprised that they didn't send anybody over here tonight to get this sorted out.
That's true.
I'm
Cause
surprised.
I sent him the agenda
Mm-hmm.
right to Don.
God, you would think they would have been right in here, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's a simple project. I mean,
It's a simple project and everything is so far away from everything.
It's
not
more of
like
a-
it's
Tina.
It's more of a,
The same kind of thing as the Hale project, truthfully.
yeah, it's more of a building code issue.
Yeah. And that's.
Because of
that's
that cover and all that, you know. That needs work, you know. So,
The only thing we have other business overlay zones,
Forget them.
forget them.
Yeah. No, stupid guy can't get them done.
Discussion of eliminating the first 250 feet of residence A on town roads.
Yeah,
Put that
That-
aside.
that actually have started on that, but what that requires is going over the whole map of the town. So that you don't move the lines around residential areas. That, you know, you go up and down like Breezeport Road and you got, 6, 8, 10 residences along this side. Well, you don't want to move the agricultural zone to the road along those areas. Plus, it has to be in order to do it, it has to be a description, so you gotta write a description for the whole town area to move that.
Well, I guess
It's
if they-
convinced me that we may never do it.
Guess if there's no other business,
You can decide on whether you wanna do Ferrari or not. As far as site plan. I mean, you can probably do seeker on it anyway, but if whether you wanna hold it or make a motion to approve the site plan, it's up to you guys.
what do you guys want to do?
The site plan is pretty well straightforward.
Yeah,
It is what it is.
it's simple, yeah, and it's not gonna change.
And the thing is everything else in there is more of an engineering issue than a.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a building code, they're building code issues, yeah.
Well, we can do the secret to get it done and then it's out of the way and
It's
then
out of the way.
they still gotta come in and get a bill. They still can't go anywhere even if we
Right,
approve it tonight, 'cause
yeah.
they still gotta get a building.
He's the one who's got them locked up, yeah,
Mhm.
we don't really have.
So do we have any more seeker
Forms?
forms?
Yeah,
I have some.
you got your own, there's that.
Okay,
Girl, do you need one? Just put some sticker form.
and we were all set on. We're all set on the county referral on that, right?
Yes, yep. It was local determination.
Yeah. Yeah, everything was good up until they started building before.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, so have a contract, eh?
I gotta find it.
Oops. That's your phone.
All right, let's go through the seeker then, one more time.
This is-
Will the proposed action create material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulations? No. Will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of the use of the land? No. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community? No. Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area? No. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway? No. Will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy? And if it fails to incorporate reasonable, available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities? No. Will the proposed action impact existing public and private water supplies? No. Will it affect public or private wastewater treatment utilities? No. Will the proposed action impair the characteristic or quality of important historical, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources? No. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources, that is wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora, fauna? No. Will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems? No. Will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health? No. So I need a motion to check the box that says, check this box if you've determined based on the information or analysis above or on any supporting documentation that the proposed action will not result in any significant or adverse environmental impacts.
So, yeah.
Second.
Okay,
No other discussion? Call the vote.
okay. Joe Atkinson.
Aye.
Alan Curran.
Aye.
Amy Crandall. Angela Hawken. Ken Castro, Matt Musto. And then now do we
I'll make a motion.
You could
Leave the site plan.
accept the site plan as presented.
Make a motion to make, approve the site plan as presented.
I believe it.
Okay.
Now, second,
Yep,
All right, but they still have to come in for building permits.
yeah, that,
That's that
Yeah, that,
anyway.
okay.
That's- Yeah,
That's
we,
the other
yeah, we
department.
don't have.
All right,
so we gotta vote on
we got to vote on it. All right.
it. Hi.
You guys, Joe Hickinson, Haley Curran,
Aye.
Amy Crandall, Angela Hawkins, Kenny Campbell, and left to go.
I make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Yay! You always, do. You always do.
I'm trying to get you out of here. That's why I was waiting till the last eye. so I
No.
could say it.
Watch Survivor or something? Yes,
Yeah.
we watch Survivor. Yeah, we are big Survivor fans.
I can't believe it's still on.
It's still on, I know, it's been forever. It's just one of those movie things.
Okay, we done?
Some people watch The Voice, you know, and all that, we don't